Hello, and welcome back to SAPSapiens channel. To some, interfaces may look like magic. Doesn't it feel like you place an online order and then a file is assigned in the background, and after a few days you receive the order in your house? How does it work? In this video, I'm planning to demystify the interfaces.
Let's start reviewing how communication works. In the 20th century, almost everybody has a mobile phone. If we want to speak to somebody, we need to communicate in a language that we both are able to understand. If I need to ask something to my friend who lives in England, I will pick up the phone, dial his number, and ask the question to him in English. It could be something like, "Hey Harry, could you send me a box of that delicious food that it is only sold in the UK?" And then he will answer, "Sure, Christina, I will send it at the end of the week." And how this works with computers? It works exactly the same way. But instead of having mobile numbers, the computers have IPs. Let's review what we need for the communication to be successful. We need a sender, that is the person or computer who makes the request. We need a receiver, that is the person or computer to whom the request is addressed. We need a medium to communicate. It could be chat, email, API. We will need to establish a common language. If the communication is between people, then we have languages like Spanish, English, Chinese, French. However, if the communication happens between computers, then the languages will be XML, JSON, EDIFACT. And lastly, we will need the message that we need to transfer. API stands for Automatic Programming Interface. It is a communication between applications without human interaction. Let's see how this works with an example. Let me introduce you my friend Rooster. Rooster loves chicken, and he's dying for roasted chicken tonight. What does he do? He visits the website or the app of his favorite chicken restaurant using his mobile phone or his laptop, and he makes an order. That request of food is sent to the restaurant in a file. Imagine like if it was an email, but in a different format. So it's like sending an email. The restaurant receives the order, cooks the chicken, and sends it to Rooster's house. Now, Rooster is happy. He can enjoy the dinner. Let's review in detail what happened. In this case, the sender was Rooster's laptop, and the receiver was the restaurant's computer. When reading documentation about APIs, you will see that the receiver is called endpoint. The restaurant has available a list of services in the website. You can place an order and go to the restaurant to pick it up. You can book a table. Or you can do what Rooster did, ordering a meal to be delivered to his house. In this case, there was no phone call, chat, or email. The communication just happened via API. The file transmitted via API was the order. Let's see how it looks like. If the communication were established in JSON format, the order would look something like this. In JSON language, the name of the fields and their content goes between quotation marks. You can see here. The separation between the name of the field and the content is made with colon. To separate fields, there is a comma. The square brackets are used to organize information in arrays. So here, the items. And the keys to distinguish different records inside the same array. So here, Rooster not only ordered a chicken, he also added a box of potatoes. So here you see between keys one item, between keys another item, and between square brackets the whole items. So roasted chicken and the fried potatoes. Let's have a look now to how the file would have looked like if the chosen language were XML. XML is a little bit different. In XML, notation marks, colons, commas, keys, and square brackets are not used. In XML, tags are used instead. The name of each field appears twice, once to open and another one to close. Notice that in the closing tag there is a slash. Pay attention to the array items. In this case, the two different lines in the order are not separated by keys. Instead, they are separated by tags. We are repeating the tag items. If you have worked for a while with SAP, I'm sure that you have already listened about iDocs. Have you ever wondered how they look like when they are transmitted? The version of our sales order in iDoc language would be something like this. This is a raw iDoc. That is how they look like when they are generated. During the transmission, they are converted to XML language. And that is how the external system will use it to work with it. It needs to be cooked. I'm sure you are looking to the screen and thinking that you don't understand the name of those fields. I know, SAP is not an easy language, at least for non-German speakers. If you know how to speak German, you have an advantage because the name of the fields will have a meaning for you. But for the rest of the world, that looks like German. Just a remark, this is a very simplified iDoc to make it understandable for the video, but in reality they are much more complex. But don't lose the hope. This is like learning a language. With some time you could be bilingual in SAP language. You just need a dictionary, that is the transaction W60, and start working on it. And maybe you are thinking, what that this XML has to do with the other one? You are right. Even when two systems speak the same language, XML, an additional translation may be needed. It would be like matching English from the US with the one from the UK. So for that, sometimes it is needed a middleware to translate. It would be like a Google Translator for the interfaces. The architecture of the solution can get more and more complex depending on what is needed and what the middleware applications are able to do. You can have several middleware applications. In the interface of the screen, the endpoint for the requester is the translator, and the endpoint for the translator is the receiver. The requester cannot send the information directly to the receiver because it will not be understood. It would be like sending an email in Chinese directly to a restaurant in Spain. The restaurant probably would need Google Translator or they will just ignore your request. So next time you listen somebody talking about magic, it is up to you to tell them that fairies don't exist.
Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to be notified when more content are published. Don't forget to give a like also if you want to see more content like this. See you in the next video.